Thanks so much for joining us today, taking time out of your schedule to speak with our students about what you've been up to since graduating.
Yeah, for sure.
I hear you say Tilsonburg. That's a very, very famous coach from Tilsonburg who passed away on Friday, Dennis Farrell. We lost him to, well, I guess what started with cancer and then kind of expanded to a few other things. But he's a Tilsonburg boy and the member of the Tilsonburg Sports Hall of Fame.
Wow. I'm not sure if I'd known that before, but he was the track coach when I was there for sure.
Yep. Highly successful, highly influential track coach. So
he was one of the reasons several of my friends joined at UW for sure.
Oh, no doubt. During that time when you were here, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Continues to be one of the premier programs in athletics. So cool. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. I'll be here in the background listening in, and may have a question or two for you at the end.
Yeah, you bet.
All right.
So I'm going to record it if that's okay, because then we like to post it sometime on our website. And I'm also going to ask you a little question later on. There's this initiative called Build a Dream that introduces young women, like in grade school and high school, into female roles. So I might ask you a question along that line, and we might use that little clip for, future purposes, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So if you want to get started, you just tell us a little bit about yourself and, how you got to where you are in your position.
Oh, what a wild ride it's been, that's for sure. My name is Brittany Arner, and I am a UWindsor graduate from 2007 is my graduating year. And I graduated from the sports management stream. FYI, my favorite classes were definitely Vicky's sports government classes and Mark's sport law class. Those were my two favorites, hands down. So I loved working with them. It was a really great experience for me to have gotten the knowledge from those fantastic professors that I had throughout my 4 years. I spent a lot of time in Windsor after graduation. I worked with the City of Windsor doing part-time maintenance for the WSU Center, mostly during the Mem Cup run in 2008. Taylor Hall and all those guys. That was awesome to be friends with those guys. And then I randomly just kind of got, I wouldn't say bored with it, but I really wanted a different opportunity. And I had seen an entry-level contract opportunity with the Edmonton Oilers in 2013. So I just picked up and moved to Edmonton for 6 months. And it was my first entry into the sports team side of working with, in the sports industry. I had previously also been a personal trainer at Lifestyles and Good Life briefly too. So I've been using my degree in some form or another for the entirety of my adult life. So that's good. So I had a really great experience out in Edmonton. It was very that traditional smile and dial. We pick up the phone and we call single ticket buyers to get them to come out to another game, to get them onto a group or a flex pack or season tickets for the junior hockey team is what we did, the Oil Kings. And it was a very eye-opening experience. Like, we put in a lot of hard work, a lot of hours on the phones, which people aren't really used to anymore. but we've grown from that into, instead of just phone calls, we have amazing technology that allows us to connect to our fans in lots of different ways. So spending time out in Edmonton, came back to Hamilton, worked with the hockey team, the Bulldogs, the AHL, for about a season and a half there. And then I had a really cool opportunity to move out west to Vancouver and work with the CFL football team, the BC Lions, for 3 seasons, doing explicitly for group sales. that is my favorite thing about fans and ticket sales in general is getting a whole bunch of people out that maybe don't even care about the sport or the team that they're coming out to see, but they're in there for a really good time. And it was really awesome to see these people become new fans of the sport just for the entertainment value. And then a really amazing opportunity came up. The Canadian Premier League is a new soccer league, completely 100% Canadian, and they had a brand new team that was based out of Victoria. So I was employee number 5, and it was our responsibility to literally start from the ground up and build a brand new soccer team in a brand new league. And it was an absolutely incredible experience. We had, for those of you, if anyone's been part of a startup, this is exactly what it was. And it was very eye-opening. I learned more about security and tech and operations and retail and everything else that you could possibly imagine, even though my title was manager of sales and service. So it was so, you pour your heart and soul into something that you don't even know is going to be successful. And at the end of the day, our home opener was a full stadium. We sold out on Ticketmaster, and we had 5,000 people come out to our game that day on a beautiful day in late April of 2019, and it was an unreal experience. I loved it so much. Then after that, I did kind of move around the CPL. So there are 8 current teams in the CPL with plans for expansion. But I moved to Winnipeg for a different experience. And that was in November of 2019. Also, what happened in November of 2019 was Winnipeg Blue Bombers won the Grey Cup. And we have we're the same organization. So Winnipeg Valor Soccer Club and the Bombers are owned by the same group. So we were a little busy. So it was an amazing time. My 6th day working for the Blue Bombers and Valor was the day we won the Grey Cup. So I got a ring, which was awesome. And it was a great experience working with a larger organization with that. But the flip side of that, of course, is the COVID pandemic, and it definitely affected the CPL. It affected the CFL, and of course, it affected the sport industry in general across the globe. And not only did we have to delay and modify our soccer season this year, we also had to cancel the CFL season. So we had to cut back on costs. We had to make workforce changes and lay people off and things like that. So it was really hard to watch my team just shrink down. But at the end of the day, the soccer team was able to play in Prince Edward Island in a bubble format, which was very successful. We had no cases, positive tests, and everybody came back safe. And overall, the success of the tournament was very good. We had broadcast on CBC and even on ESPN in the States. So for a league that's only in year 2 of existence to be on ESPN was pretty amazing. And then unfortunately, after that was over, we realized that we weren't generating more revenue, and I was one of the fatalities in a new round. So I basically got introduced to my current boss, the owner, the president over here at York 9. So this is my 3rd team in the CPL in the last 3 seasons, but it's given me a lot of great experience. And I'm back to the startup mentality now, because we only have a team of about 7. And so I lead the ticket sales, service, hospitality, currently the retail, and I'm back to wearing lots of hats. So, and I get to do it all from my bedroom.
That's great. That's great. Wow. Well, you answered a lot of your questions that I was going to ask you. What's your favorite part of your job? So we heard that, and I always like to ask, when you start out in a career, not being afraid to start somewhere in the lower positions, which you did when that new team was created, correct? So you got to gain so much with doing that. And they can't be afraid to start lower and just work your way up. The things
That's
like
great.
that. Yeah.
I mean, every path is different, and I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage, but I also never had an internship when I was in school. I took a couple of random classes, and I have my minor in political science. So I did not take a co-op or an internship or anything like that. So my horizons were very broad in that sense because I didn't really know what I was going to do. I didn't know when I originally applied for my undergrad. My intention was to go through for physiotherapy. But after those core courses in year 1 and year 2, I realized that really wasn't for me. And I enjoyed the social aspects of it, the cultural aspects, sport and tourism and those types of courses. So, that really changed the way that I directed my career path.
So they should always keep keep an open mind when they're taking like different kinds of classes, because you never know where it's going to lead you.
That's right. You're going to find something that really speaks to you. And then once you find that little piece of your heart that you can attach yourself to, that's, my group sales, I don't want to go into marketing. I don't want to go into operations. I love the sales side. I love the service side. And now I'm vice president of a team where my focus is to bring these new fans into a stadium and watch a team that they've never seen before.
Wow. With that said, what would you say? I was going to ask you the questions. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
My ultimate goal, we said that I said that the league right now is at 8 teams, but we have aggressive expansion plans. And so by 2026, when Canada and the US host the World Cup, the intention is to have 16 teams throughout the country. Wow. And my intention is to be president of one of those teams.
Ooh, good for you. Good for you. That's great. So I did want to ask you that little question that we can use, for the Build a Dream. So with sports management being a more male dominated, field or area, what are some of the new amazing initiatives such as this Build a Dream that introduces really young girls into the sports and leadership stream? What advice would you give to young females in particular? Like I'm talking around like ages grades or grade 6 to like grade 10.
Well, really, other than keeping your options open, my dream when I was 12 years old was to play professional baseball in the MLB, right? And so I don't ever want to say to somebody, like you wouldn't be good at that, right? So don't ever let somebody tell you that you can't do something, because you can. You just need to learn how to do it and to overcome the fear and the self-doubt that we all have. Because, if somebody had told me, even when I was 30, that I'd be running a sports team right now, like I would have been like, are you crazy? Like, I don't know how to do that. Right. But I learned it and I was given the opportunities. You want to attach yourself to people who are influential, but believe in the same causes that you believe in. There are people that I've worked for that I couldn't align myself with because of the way they did their business or the way that they felt about certain cultural aspects and things like that. And I couldn't be on the same plane as them. So I really couldn't grow as a person or grow the office and the culture that I wanted. So you find somebody who shares that same value set as you do, and you'll be able to really expand and grow in your career and in your personal life.
Yeah, that's great advice for the young ones. You have a passion, you have something, just go with it. That's a great way to look at it. Well, does anyone else, does Jess or anyone have a question for Brittany?
Hi, Brittany. Thanks so much for your talk today. We really appreciate it. I do have a question. If you could go back to your first year self and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Other than stop eating the chicken tenders at the, at the cafeteria, it would probably have been to focus the attention a little bit more on what I was learning. I didn't respect and really understand the things that I was learning at the time, and knowing how valuable it would become later in life. It honestly didn't hit me until probably first semester of fourth year, where I think I took one of the cooperation and conflict classes, and like just bits and pieces from each of the things that I had learned, they all came together and was just like, oh, I get it now. Oh, okay. Right. So it was, I just kind of had that moment, but I probably would have gotten that a little bit earlier had I been a little bit more focused. But then again, I live out in the country, and like living in the big city of Windsor was just like, whoa, let's go.
Fully understand that one. Thanks so much.
That's great advice. Yep.
So Brittany, I caught in your presentation there that you're really passionate about sales, and this is a lot of people are terrified of sales. So a lot of people, even when they're teaching students and saying, hey, you know what, if you can sell, you'll always have a job. It doesn't matter, that the skill is easily transferable across so many different disciplines and industries. But so few students actually want to get into sales. So what is it like? Maybe can you walk students through like the beginning to the end of a sale process? And because some people think that it's just, hey, you pick up the phone, you make the sale. It's not that simple. It's about building relationships. And I think that's, part of the thing that people don't often realize, the doors that a career in sales can open for people.
Absolutely. And, again, I didn't really realize it until I'd gotten kind of out of that traditional, the inside sales rep type of role, and really got into something that I was passionate about. A lot of people think that sales is just your entryway into a sports team. And for a lot of people it is. But at the same time, me as a hiring director, if somebody said to me, I just want to work in sports, that's not the kind of type of person that I want to hire for a sales role, because you have to want to sell. You have to want to provide these experiences for the fans. And the reason why I don't want to be in anything else is because we're the front line, and we're the representatives of the sports teams that we work for. And we're the ones who tell the world about what we do and who we are. I love sales because we are able to provide something that people may or may not even know that they want, or the experience that we can give them that people are like, oh, okay, I don't like football. All right, cool. I don't like football either, but I like coming out to a game. I like coming out with my friends and my family to experience something that they would otherwise just be staring at their phones right now. There's that community experience that we have in a stadium that you can't get anywhere else. And we're not just about, hey, you want to buy some tickets? Hey, you want some sponsorship? Hey, can you give me your credit card? That's not how we do business anymore. And it's all about the value and the perception that the fan has about your brand. So that's why we work really closely with marketing. But I'm really not good at marketing. So I stick on the sales side of things because I like talking to people. And so the world is changing, and that whole traditional just pick up the phone and smile and dial, it doesn't work anymore. We talk to our fans via text. We do a lot of email marketing. We do push notifications. We do all these other things to engage our fans, because it's not just about the season ticket. It's not just about the actual product on the field. And that's what really drives me, and it's what I expect my own staff to feel as well.
Great, thank you very much. Just as my dog starts barking, she likes your answer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maybe if Joanne, you're on mute, but I got another question if you want. Talk to us a little bit about the CPL. I mean, a lot of students may not be familiar with what's going on there and the opportunities that might be available to them as a new league within the Canadian sport landscape.
Yeah, we have an amazing opportunity, and that's why I jumped on board right from the beginning. Was because when was the last time? Well, I mean, like, I can't say the last time a league has been built, because I mean, you look to the Windsor Express and the basketball league that formed a few years back. But the soccer market is highly untapped in North America and in Canada specifically. We were the only nation within the World Cup standings that did not have a national league of their own. And so that was one of the driving forces in creating the CPL. And then again, with hosting the World Cup in 2026, that was the main driving factor to ensure that we had a very deep contingency of true pro level athletes from our own country. But when we talk about that, we really want to extrapolate that entire idea and say we want to be on the world market for high quality athletes. You only have to look to Alphonso Davies and him going over to Bayern Munich to understand that the talent is there, but the ways to get that talent are very, very small. And so we're trying to change that. We built, again, the 7 original teams of Victoria, which is Pacific, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, York, Hamilton, and Halifax, and then with the 2020 expansion team of Ottawa, Atletico Ottawa, which is actually the majority owned by Atletico Madrid, which is a very big deal for us. And the entire purpose is to make sure that we have a proper path for elite soccer in this country, so that they don't have to go to Europe, so they don't have to go to the States for their academy programs. And that we can say with true pride and conviction that we have top level athletes coming out of this country. And then on the flip side of that, on the business side, is that we want to be, we recognize that there's a long journey to get up to the level of the MLS, which in the soccer world still isn't even that good compared to the EPL or La Liga or the German Premier League. So we have a long way to go to form that, but we have a very solid plan. And it really starts from the grassroots movements that I am building with my team to connect with the grassroots community, with places like Richmond Hill Soccer, and getting the kids out to have our head coach, Jimmy Brennan, who is nationally recognized as one of the top level soccer players in Canada. And he goes and does coaching clinics with the community, and we really want to make our presence known in the York region, in the GTA, and then across Canada as a league. So we just want to make our presence known, and there's so many possibilities throughout this country to make an impact.
That's great. Thanks. I agree. I think it's such a cool opportunity for people who want to do something new in the sports industry, that people, looking to get their start, looking to sort of refresh themselves and do something fun and exciting. And I think it's great. Tons of opportunity there and tons of support for it as well, which is wonderful to see.
Yeah, and it's a wild contradiction right now, because I do come from the CFL world as well. And you see the struggles that the CFL has had over the last few months, even with their revenue plummeting, obviously, but not having the right business plans to justify any government help which has been very polarizing, and it's hurt the CFL. But what the CFL needs to do, and they need to do quickly, is change so that they can be better suited for the up and coming generations, which is what the CPL doesn't have to do, because we're starting from there. We're looking into 5 years into the future and seeing how we can build our stadiums to be more integrated and more technologically suited to the new generations that are coming up, that want AR and VR, that want a more engaging experience, and not just coming to a game and sitting in your seat and having a hot dog and a beer. It's not the same anymore. So people are flocking to these new leagues and these new teams because they want a new experience.
Oh, it's great. It's exciting. Glad you're on the front lines, and look forward to reading in the newspaper someday when you're the president of one of the existing or some future expansion team. I think that's a great goal to have.
Somebody said, if you're not gunning for president, then you're not going too far. You're not going far enough, right?
No, exactly. No, I think it's great, and yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I have one more question, just for students that are going into the sports management field. What are some non-academic ways that they can that a student can prepare for these types of positions?
Let's see. Well, I was in sports for a long time. I played a lot of sport. I played softball right up until I was about 20. And I still like to play on the co-ed teams. But from my extensive experience in traveling around the country, and it's really just to make sure that you don't box yourself into anything, that you try new ways of doing the same thing. Even you don't have to try new things all the time, but be open to new experiences and what other people have to say, and how their experience will affect your actions. Like I said, I come from a very tight-knit, Dutch-oriented community, and I had a very different experience. But then when I moved to Windsor, and I became friends with all these people across the country and across the world, and it really opened my eyes to different ways that we can do things. And that's one of my pillars for outreach in the community, is that we want to reach out to new Canadians. We want to reach out to demographics that have otherwise been very quiet, because we haven't asked what they want. And so we want to be open. We want to really extol those values that we all say that we want to have on social media, and the Black Lives Matter movement, and all of these other social things. Sports is not exclusive to that anymore. It never should have been. But we want to bring everyone together, and we want to be inclusive, because that's who we are. And we don't ever want to shut people out. We want them to enjoy coming to our events. We want them to feel welcome and to feel listened to, just like everyone else. And that's really what I always keep in my head. Everything that I do, all the programs that I put on, everyone that we talk to, just be open and be welcoming.
So get out in your community and, do some work with them, and, all the way around. Yep. That's great. That's great. Well, does anyone else have any questions for her? We're getting to our time right now. So are there any students that want to reach out, or they're a little bit shy?
That's totally normal. Totally
Yeah.
normal. But one of the good things is that I'm always available. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. Joanne, I'll send you my work email.
Yes.
Anybody wants to get a hold of me. I love just talking to people and seeing how I can help in the industry. Because you guys didn't notice, I know a lot of people in a lot of different cities around here. So
Yeah.
so if you're looking at different options, man, just let me know. Okay.
Well, send me that information. Maybe we can put some links there for chats from students that would like to reach out.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
All right.
One thing is that the sports industry is incredibly small. My former boss at Edmonton, he is now the VP of sales at the Arizona Coyotes.
Wow.
Another boss of mine is now VP at the Chicago White Sox. everybody moves around. I'm not an anomaly here.
Mhm.
And you stay friends with those people because you have no idea when you're going to want to pick up the phone, ask for their help,
Yep.
ask for guidance, or ask for a job. So
Yep. That's great. This was a great chat. I'm sure the students are really going to enjoy it that get to watch it. I think you're going to really spark some interest, because you sparked my interest. All right. Well,
thank you.
I want to thank you again for joining us, and and thanks for offering to do some chats with students and stuff like this. It's really important to us.
You bet. I spent 4 years out at the university, and I didn't engage myself as much as I wish I had. And this is my opportunity to give back to the students that are coming through and maybe change their experience and really make sure you get the most out of your time there, for sure.
Thanks, Brittany. Really appreciate your time today. This has been wonderful. Nice to hear some of those things that I'm teaching in my classes getting reinforced by people who are working in the industry. Just on your last point about the size of the industry, it's small. It reinforces the importance of networking and doing these kinds of things, and making sure that if you leave somewhere, you leave on good terms, because you never know when you're going to be working with those people again. So thanks for all that you're doing. Keep up the great work, and hopefully we'll cross paths again soon.
Absolutely.
Have a great day, Brittany. Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.